Hello everybody, this is the Hilltop Craftsman. My name is Landon Ratcliffe, and today we're going to be doing another video on how to make a knife out of a horseshoe. Horseshoe's really good steel make knives out of. What I usually do to make them is I cut them in half first, right at the top of the U part, and then you make the blade right here. So you can make two knives out of one horseshoe. So we're going to go ahead and heat this up and we'll get started. Alright, for heating up the steel on a knife, it's going to be a little different. When you're forging a knife, you want to really get up to the high temperatures. And when you're forging it, you don't, like on the leaf and stuff, you saw me forging it till it was cold. You don't want to do that with the knife because it'll take the carbon out of it. But what you want to do with the knife is you want to heat it up to maybe a really light orange to a bright yellow, somewhere in that range. You can see I got it kind of up to a low orange right now, but you don't want to work the metal past that bright orange. So because the carbon in the knife, when you quench it, that's the stuff that makes the knife blade harden and hold its edge. So you want to leave as much carbon in that blade as you can. Alright, so first off, what we're going to do is start forging the tip on this knife. So you're going to want to hold it like this and start just making a rounded point on it. And like I said, you can't work these knives for very long because they cool off really quick, and you don't want to work them past that like low orangish color to a really low red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it back in the fire and we'll do it again. Alright, so I've got the steel up really high temperatures. I'm just going to keep forming that until it's about like that, and then you want to start flattening it out. And sometimes, as you flatten it out, you want to shape it as you do it, because once you flatten it out, it makes it a little more thin and a little easier to form into that tip. There, worked it a little past that point, but you just want to be careful of that. You always want to straighten it up before you put it in the fire, because if you don't straighten it up when you want to quench it, is what I've heard, is if you don't straighten it up and you keep heating it up and hammering on it, that steel is wanting to go back to where it's a little bit curved. And you don't want that. You want a straight blade when you quench it. So just try to get it as straight as possible before you put it back in the forge. See how I've got it almost straight. And then just keep working at it. As your metal gets thinner, it's going to want to heat up a lot faster. So you're going to start working a little bit faster as you start thinning it out. You're going to want to leave a little bit more meat at the back spine of the knife and start thinning it out towards the edge. Kind of like a taper. There you go. Remember to get it straight as possible before you put it back in the forge. And we'll stick it in the fire and keep working at it. Just you want to get that basic blade shape. We're still trying to work on the tip a little bit. So as we flatten it out a little bit more, because we still got a lot of meat on this blade, we're just gonna keep flattening it out, and that'll start gradually forming that tip a little better. So right now, what I'm doing is I got the basic blade shape, and if you don't close that point off all the way, that's all right. If you can get it about like I've got it, it's good, because we're gonna take it to the grinder and put that edge on there. So what you want to do is just start thinning out this blade part right here, kind of taper it, hit it with the side of your hammer like that. It'll make it pointed, and start thinning that little edge out. And then what you want to do after that is just start straightening it up and getting ready for the quench. I don't know. What I usually do is I quench it before I grind it. But I've seen some people grind it and then quench it. But I don't know. I usually just I usually just quench it and then grind it. Get it real hard steel. But I don't know. You could either quench it or grind it. Grind it before you quench it, or just go ahead and quench it. But I don't know. It's up to you. But you just want to start tapering that blade down, and you want to leave that on the spine right there. You see how I've kind of tapered it, like how it's thicker up here and it tapers down through there on the spine. That's what you want. You don't want it to just all be the same thickness, because you just want it to lead back into the handle part. Want to check it every time it gets a little cold, and then straighten it up before you put it back in the fire. What I didn't mention earlier is when we're heating it up, you don't want your blade to come out and it's sparking off the end of it. If it's like a really bright yellow and it's sparking off the end of it and everything, you've burnt your steel and you have to restart, because that just took all the carbon out of your blade. So you don't want to burn it. You want to get it right up to that temperature, like a yellow, but not like a white heat, because that'll either when it's sparking and stuff, and you burn it, it's about to melt. So that took all your carbon out, and you don't want it to about there. So you just want it a bright yellow, and you just don't want it to. Alright, so I've zoomed in the camera a little bit so you can see me straightening out the blade. Just want to pick it up, hold it straight, and then if you could tell if the blade's curved, just hold the horseshoe part straight, and then you could tell the blade's going to the right or to the left a little bit. Sorry, I'm holding it off the camera. And you can realize it. Okay. So like that, and then you sight down through here. You look at the handle, and then it'll either tell if the blade's curved this way or curved this way. Mine's curved a little bit this way. So what we need to do is, there's kind of an arch right here. So we're just going to hit that, and it should flatten it out. Yeah, that fixed it right there. But you also want to sight it down through here, because the blade's going to be a little bit skinnier, and that might need a little adjusting too. So you just straighten her up a little bit. Okay. And I think we're ready for the quench. Alright, so what I'm using for a quench tank is aluminum food can, because all my 5-gallon buckets are plastic, and when you dip your knife in there, I don't want it to melt the bucket. So, and since it's a smaller blade, it'll fit down in here. So what I've done is I filled this food can full of used motor oil, which you could buy better oil for quenching, but I found out that used motor oil works pretty good. So I just use that because we've got a lot extra of it. I've got a 5-gallon bucket in there full of it. But I just dip it out of there and put it in this to quench stuff in. Pour it back in when I'm done, save oil. But that's what I usually quench it in. The reason we quench it in oil is because when you quench it in water, what the water does is it cools it down a whole lot faster than the oil does, because water is like it's thinner than oil. So what the oil does is it cools it down a little bit slower, so it doesn't cause stress fractures and cracks and stuff in your blade. So now we're going to get ready for the quench. Grab the blade right here. Move the camera back because it usually shoots flames out of it. And here we go. You just want to wave it around in there until it cools off. And quit sizzling. Usually shoots flames out about this high. I don't know what's the matter with it right now. Probably because it's a little cold, it's a little thicker, so it ain't shooting as much flames out of it. But it usually shoots a whole lot. And there we go. Now what you want to do is you want to check it if it's warped or not, because if it's warped you're going to have to heat it up and redo it. Mine seems pretty straight. It's got a little bend into it, but just really slight, so I think it's going to be alright. But now you just want to scrub it off, make sure there's no cracks and stuff in it. It's still gonna be hot, so you can't touch it. Even though we quenched it in oil, it's still gonna be warm on the inside because it's still cooling down. Now what we're gonna do to check the hardness of it is you're gonna take a file. What you're gonna do is you're gonna lay it like this, and you're just gonna run it down the blade. You see how that file's skating off of there? Like that, and not digging. Files will usually just dig into there and start filing away. If it's hardened steel, it's just going to skate off the top of it. Like that. So we got it good and hardened, so it should last us a long time. Now we're going to take it down to the grinder, and we're going to shine it up. Alright, now what we're going to do is, where we didn't get that tip all the way down there, we're just going to take a grinder, even that up, get the nice shape of the blade, and then we're going to take the belt sander and we're going to grind this flat, make it all shiny, and get it sharp on the belt sander. This is just to get the main shape of it down. That's That's because the belt sander is better for sharpening it, because you could just lay it right across there. This is more rounded, so it's harder to do that with. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Basic shape. Now we've got the basic shape of the blade down. Now we're going to take it over to the belt sander and start smoothing it out. Alright, now we switched over to the belt sander. We're just going to start flattening it out and shining it up and grinding out the rest of the blade with this. So, here we go. It's getting shiny right here, but you're not going to have it completely flat, because where we're pounding on it, it's going to have some dips and stuff in it. So those will eventually just grind out while we're grinding it. But some of them won't, because they're a little bit deeper. I just like to call them, they give it character, make it look older. That's what I like. That's what I like about it, where it's not all perfect. you go. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to wrap the handle. Now, what I usually don't wrap the handles, but what I'm just going to do is we're just going to wrap it right through there, make it more of a comfortable, easier to hold on to. And then you could just run that through the sharpener after you get done grinding it. Like one of those yellow knife sharpeners you just pull through, and that'll get it pretty sharp. But that just gets your blade down to where it should be at a point. So then you just run it through that sharpener, get it sharper. And now we're gonna wrap the handle. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna be taking this type of string. I don't even know where I got this, but it just suits these knives really good. You could use any kind of like leather string, but I'm just gonna use this because it works really good on these knives and stuff. It's real durable. So we'll get started. What we're gonna do is we're gonna slip it through this hole right here, and then on the back we're just gonna lay it across there, and then once we wrap it around, it'll wrap over top of itself and just make it a beginning knot right there. You kind of just want to push all that up once you wrap around. We're just going to keep wrapping it like that. I'm going to fast forward the video right here so you can just see how we're going to wrap it, and then I'll show you how to tie the end knot. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna go down about that far, make sure, or to not make sure, but to see, so you can see it's a horseshoe. That just give you a little bit of grip right there, hold on to it with. And the reason I'm stopping right here is because I wanna, like I said, make it so people know it's a horseshoe and there's a hole right there. So that's gonna be where we tie our knot off with. So what we're gonna do is take your knife. You want to leave enough slack right here, or enough extra string on there so you have enough to tie it off with. About that much, something like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slip it down through that hole. If I can get it down in there. Slip it down through there. Pull it out the other side. Now I'm just going to use up this extra string. Go back through there again. Come back out the other side. Okay. I'm gonna pull that one loose right there. slip it through there like that. And pull it real tight. Then I think I'm gonna do slip it through there again just to make sure it's on there real good. If I can get it through there. There we go. And just pull it real tight. And there you go. Now all you gotta do is just cut this little slack off. And there's your finished product. Now all you gotta do, run it through that knife sharpener, get it as sharp as you want it. And please like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.